Hi and welcome to another one of our videos, and this video today is a little bit different. What we're going to do today is give you a quick understanding of what to expect from a survey. We get lots of questions from clients who haven't had a survey done before, actually what happens, and this video we're going to try and break it down into making it really easy steps so that you know what to expect from your pre-purchase survey. This is a Sunseeker Portofino 47. It's actually been sold through our Sunseeker brokerage side of the business, but it's going to give you a really good idea of what's involved with a survey, both for the buyer and the seller. So the first part of the survey is this morning that Chris Olsen, the surveyor, has tended the vessel and basically has been on board and started the engines and just done his initial checks. But all the time Chris is here going through his checklist, making dictaphone notes about the vessel, looking for any issues he might find in order that he can write his report. We have a lift booked out at 12 o'clock at Darthaven Marina today, so we need to get going in a minute to head round there for the lift out. Just while manoeuvring here, just wanted to show you something quickly. This is a Sunseeker Portofino 47 and it is a shaft drive vessel. Now that means you've got two props coming out the back of the boat, both on shaft. Mark, as you can see here, is using the throttles of the engines to help manoeuvre the boat. There is also a bow thruster, which is a propeller in the front of the boat, which we'll see later on the survey, which helps you to manoeuvre the front of the boat in windy conditions or in tight spaces. But this boat is really manoeuvrable. It's a great example really of how manoeuvrable a 50-foot Sunseeker or any shaft drive boat can be. Now, whilst we're here, Chris is in the background, just feeling the boat, getting a feel for it, because if there's anything wrong with the boat, you will soon start to feel there's an issue. You're here now, he's just opened up the engine hatch, going into the engine room, just to see if there's any funny noises, smells, leaks, whatever he's looking for down there. Okay, so let's talk about who actually goes on the survey. Now today on this boat, you've got myself, Tom, you've got Mark, the skipper, and Chris Olsen, and obviously our great videographer. But the buyer is very welcome to come on the survey and sea trial, and often they do. Today the buyer of this vessel can't be here, so he's entrusting us to deal with it. Sometimes indeed the sellers will also attend, and that's not necessarily an issue. It's not something we would always recommend, but it isn't an issue if the seller really wants to be there. So that's why we're on the boat today. Now we're all wearing life jackets. I'm an STCW trained, as is Mark, and he's a commercially endorsed skipper, as am I. Chris is here working on behalf of the buyer, so in theory, in this scenario, Mark and myself are in charge of this vessel from Torquay to Darthaven, which is where she's been lifted out. So here we are, we've arrived safely at Darthaven Marina, and this is where this boat is going to be lifted out of the water, which we're going to show you in a second, in their travel hoist that will pick the boat up, and that will allow Chris to do his underwater inspection. So simple question, why do a survey? Now, every sale we do, we offer the ability for the buyer to sea trial and survey the vessel. Now, it's as simple as that. It is a way of checking that what they're buying is what they're expecting. So the idea really is for the boat to be checked structurally, so to make sure the hull's okay, and there's nothing been hit underneath, there's no damage to propellers, that type of thing, and also to check the boat systems. Now you can actually break those two items down into separate sections. So you can ask for just purely a structural survey, where the surveyor will just come along and make sure that structurally boat is sound, or you can do a structural and system survey, so a full survey. Most people tend to opt for a full survey, where the surveyor will literally check the hull of the boat, all its running gear, and then the systems, and issue you a report. And in that report, the surveyor will give you certain recommendations, which you can decide whether you want to take on, or you want to decide to renegotiate with the seller on the basis of those recommendations from the survey. Okay, so as you can see, the boat's now out of the water, and the guys are giving the hull a wash off underneath. And when they've done all the washing, that's when Chris will come in for his next stages. And when Chris comes in for his next stages, what he's looking at is any signs of obvious damage.
This part of the survey, when the boat is out of the water, is to find out whether there's been any problems with what's called the delamination, where a boat like this takes the waves very heavily over time. It can actually work and degrade the layers of fiberglass, which is actually called the delamination. It's a very important part and potential problem on boats of all sorts, predominantly fast and performance power boats.
Okay, so what Chris is doing here is checking the continuity. So the boat has sacrificial anodes, which are designed to basically sacrifice themselves prior to the underwater stern gear being sacrificed with electrolysis. So what Chris is doing here is checking that is working correctly. You've also seen him a minute ago tapping the hull with a hammer, and he's doing that to get a certain sound, and you can tell if the boat's got moisture in the hull or there's an issue, you don't get that certain thud on the hammer. Okay, so we're now back in the water, which you've just seen the boat launching in, and normally we would now go straight towards sea trial. However, the weather's turned on us a little bit today, which does happen sometimes on surveys, especially this time of year. So we're prodding out the River Dart now, and we've got wind against tide, so it is a bit rough. Nothing that the boat can't handle, but we're going to just get back to Torquay safely, and then we'll look at doing a sea trial there. Okay, so we've made it back round from Dartmouth, and we found some calmer water in Torquay. And really what the surveyor here is looking to do is just to see how the boat performs. So as with earlier, we're looking for strange noises, strange smells, strange sounds, but also looking to run your engines up to full operating speed, so max RPM, see what speed she pulls, and actually that tells you a lot about how a boat is performing and how the engines are performing themselves. So that's what we do here in Torquay. We do a sea trial. We're now back at Torquay Marine, and we do hope this video has been a good insight into what a survey and sea trial is all about. If you've got any questions whatsoever, please do contact us here at One Marine or indeed Sunseeker Brokerage, and thanks very much for watching.